Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thanks so much for being here today. Well, today I am going to be talking about this Colombia trip and how the residents of Colombia are confused about why Harry and Meghan are there. I think the fraud, the misuse of funds, the whole abuse of Harry and Meghan is starting to be revealed to a lot of people. Oh, yeah. People are not stupid. They're like, wait a minute, hold up. What you doing here? Why are you here? And I'm going to ask that same question. And as a matter of fact, talk about some of the real issues that are plaguing Colombia. Oh, yes, that's what we're going to talk about. So let's get into it. But now, before I get into today's story, this is what I find really exciting. Something about Prince William. Prince William is set to issue an official statement about Harry and Meghan. Oh, yes. Let's get our wand of majesty, of majesticness, to seriously bring in some authority and to tell these two, we got to have some changes. No. We're going to wield some power up in here. We can't have this nonsense. So this is what's getting ready to happen. So William is considering issuing an official statement to disassociate. Ooh, Otis, I'm sorry. Are you scared? I should have put this away. I'm sorry. Did I make you scared with the spoon? I'm sorry. Okay. So to disassociate the royal family from Prince Harry and Meghan Markle because of these faux royal tours that they're doing. They're getting ready to come out and say, stop it. You don't have nothing to do with us. It's been suggested that William wants to issue a statement distancing the royal family from the trip. But King Charles believes silence is the best approach to avoid giving Harry and Meghan any type of publicity, because it can really swing way out of control. They talked about how Harry and Meghan can further damage their relationship with the royal family, with the international tours, as they are seen as this defiant act against royal protocols and family sentiments. And I believe all of this started when they got kicked out of Frogmore, because another story has come out that talked about how Harry was livid when they got booted from Frogmore Cottage. And Harry, at this point, just went ballistic on King Charles. And I believe this is when it all started getting revved up for Harry, especially because, he was not happy about losing his UK residence. And Meghan, she kind of came in and saw this as an opportunity for her to do these fake royal tours, but to do it on her terms. And Harry, I believe, is still miserable. I mean, if we take a look at some of the photos from this tour, you can see Harry is not happy. He is looking very just going through the motions. And you'll have these occasional photos. And even there was this article that talked about all their PDA. You look, your PDA is PDA to show that we still like each other. We know the real deal. We're not fooled by these fake photos of you having PDA, Harry and Meghan, because you slip and your real feelings come out. And this is what is the true feeling when we see these type of photos. I think Harry and Meghan are in a bad space right now, and it's just not looking good in terms of their future. But they can think that they're having some success with this tour. But you look at what is actually happening in Colombia right now to understand this is on such a level of disaster, this whole tour. But just going really quickly back to this statement that the royal family are going to do, how they're trying to distance from Harry and Meghan because of they're wanting to do these tours. Because it looks like William really does want to issue a statement reminding everyone that Harry and Meghan's Colombia tour is not any officially sanctioned tour by the king. The king wants to just make it where there's just silence. And that, I think, is the weak way to deal with Harry and Meghan. I think if you're the king, you're in this new age of social media, you need to put your foot down and you just need to make it known. I am not attached to these fake royals anymore. He should denounce it. That's the best way to deal with it. But I think the king is showing a very weak hand by not denouncing it. And I think William is right. He should issue an official statement to say, we have nothing to do with these crazy folks. Nothing. Because it really is a poor reflection on the royal family, because that's the only reason why people even allow Harry to come to their country on these fake tours, is because he is the king's son. But if the king denounces that and says, I am not approving of my son going out and doing these tours, then it gives question for people to think, well, maybe we better not entertain any, fake tours with Harry and Meghan, because the king has come out and denounced it. I think he's just really afraid of it backfiring, but I think they should do something. It's very derogatory to the actual royals for Harry and Meghan to go out and do these fake royal tours. And it says so much about Meghan's character, doesn't it? I don't want to rehash things that I've said before, but you just really understand the kind of person that Meghan is by the idea that they're even doing these royal tours. Shows you they're not about doing the right thing. They're not about being the best representation of themselves, because everything that they are doing is going against their families. But yet they have the nerve to go out and talk about, if you can't say something nice, don't say it at all. Well, with that kind of reasoning, if you can't do something nice, don't do it at all. How about that, Meghan? Out on a tour going against the royal family? The idea of you saying that is an insult, because you are on a royal tour that is really putting the middle finger up to the actual royals. You're not doing something nice by being on this tour. So how can you go and preach to people about, if you can't say something nice, don't say it at all, when you are in real time behaving like a woman with a stick up your butt, no grace, no way of showing humility and respect to the people that allowed you into their home as a foreigner, and you are completely disrespecting their traditions, their values, their institution, everything that they go by, you are disrespecting it. So you are the last person to talk about, if you can't say something nice, don't say it at all. Because you're showing us your nasty, stanky attitude. Your actions are showing what a disgusting person you are. Real talk here, folks. Real talk. Okay? So don't let Meghan Markle come out and try to pull the wool over your eyes and talk all this nonsense about how she's trying to get people to be more nice online, when she is in real time acting like what I always say, a wackadoo. In 2016, peace accord between the Revolutionary Army Forces of Colombia, FARC, and the government ended a 5-decade-long conflict and brought an initial decline in violence. But violence took new forms, and abuses by armed groups increased in many remote areas, reaching similar levels to those that existed immediately before the peace process. A year and a half since President Gustavo Petro took office, his total peace strategy has achieved limited results in curbing abuses against civilians. So I think the least of the worries of people in this country are what is actually happening online. They have more immediate issues to deal with besides what's happening online. I mean, there are large numbers of people who don't even have access to even be online. In a lot of places, that's a luxury. Their immediate need and concern are what's happening in their country that's not online. But Harry and Meghan want us to focus on what is happening to them. So they want what's happening to them to be an issue that other people take seriously in these other countries. But these other countries, these people in these other countries have far more serious things to deal with. And this is how you have to look at it, how they are using these children that they're visiting at these schools. They are using the veterans. They are using these people to build their own profile. They are essentially abusing these people by using their images to help inflate their own image to be more positive. That is the abuse that's happening, because this Marquez, this vice president, needs to be focusing on the immediate needs of her people rather than spending money on security for Harry and Meghan, giving them props to say we're loved by the people when clearly they are not. Because at this event that they talked about that was visit on cyberbullying, there were hardly any people there visiting it, because that's not really a concern of the people. And you have this woman smiling, Meghan, taking these photos with these people when there is clear damage behind the curtain with Meghan in her own personal life. You know, sitting there dancing and showing themselves having a good time when you need to deal with real serious problems that are happening in your country. And I think it's just very disingenuous to go to this country and appear like you are so superior. You are the celebrities. You are coming there with your 14-card caravan showing how important you are, when there are people living amongst violence every day in these towns in Colombia. And the people of this town are wondering, why are you even here? You know, why are you here in our country? Are you here to help us? Is this why the vice president brought you here? No. Harry and Meghan are there to use you. Harry and Meghan are there to manipulate your image to show that they're there to help you, but they're not really there to help you. They are there to help themselves. Real talk, folks. 3 months after their trip to Nigeria, you know, we see them now visiting in Colombia, and the South Americans are, why are you bringing them here? As a matter of fact, a lot of people wanted the vice president to cancel this trip of Harry and Meghan coming to Colombia. They did not approve of it. I mean, they're promoting mental health for young people, trying to raise awareness around cyberbullying, when your head of your Sussex squad, Christopher Floozy, my husband calls him Christopher Floozy, is the one who's been bullying Harry's family, Harry's brother and sister-in-law. They're the ones who are perpetrating the fraud here and who are the bullies, because they have yet to denounce all the hate that Christopher Floozy did towards Catherine and William. So Harry and Meghan in Colombia talking about cyberbullying is a sham. And it's not relevant to the people that live there in this country. They have bigger issues. You think about the special accommodations that they had. They required for the couple for their 4-day visit. Others wanted to know why the pair chose to travel to a place with such high crime rates. It has a level 3 travel advisory from the U.S. State Department. And Harry believes that Meghan's life is at risk when they go to the UK. So why is your butt in Colombia? What are you doing in Colombia? You fraud perpetrating wackadoos. Something's wrong with you. You don't have no senses. You don't know how to really think about other people because you're constantly thinking about yourselves. You don't care about these people in cyberbullying. And this is what I find really terrible, is that they were given a very intensive military or immense security presence with the 14 cars police van convoy. It is not known yet who will cover the cost of this, but I can assure you that the Colombian government is definitely covering this bill, as well as the Invictus Foundation, because they're visiting some of the participants from the Invictus Games there. So Harry and Meghan are all about using people to help their own profile. They're not really there to help the people and address the real concerns that these people have in this country. I think the vice president of Colombia is also perpetrating this lie that Harry and Meghan are there to do good, when they're only there to make themselves appear to do good, to support something that sounds negative, but really is not relevant as much to the people there, when their concerns are much more relevant to everyday life, like living, security and violence in like real places and spaces. It's not online. And I think Harry and Meghan going there and using these children, these families, to make themselves appear like they are there for the good, it really is a form of abuse. It's a way to use people for your own profile, to help yourselves elevate within the global community, and they should be called out for it. And I think going back to William and wanting to put out a statement to distance themselves from these two is a good thing, because they're going to clearly keep taking advantage of these titles. They're going to keep taking advantage of promoting their own brand, their commercial empire that they're trying to build, while Harry looks miserable during the whole time. I mean, Harry doesn't look like he's doing well. And I wouldn't imagine that Harry would do well. Because, look, this is a man isolated from his family, his country. He has been brought up to live a certain kind of a life, and Meghan has brought him into the world of let's try to make ourselves popular in California. Let's try to get where we're trying to get in California. And to talk about using people, Meghan is using her husband. She's using him as the handbag to get what she wants. Because when you look at everything that she does, she's not about elevating Harry and putting him in the forefront. She's about elevating herself. This is why she is the one smiling the most on these tours. This is why she is the one looking more like she's the one enjoying herself from this trip. And Harry seems less thrilled by a lot of things that are happening. And I also find it interesting that it looks like they got rid of that one interpreter, because look at these pictures of Harry with his arms around their translator when they first came. Look at this. And then I was watching the video, and Harry was talking a lot to this translator. I mean, you would think he would be talking to his wife, but Harry has gravitated to the translator. He's probably like, look, I need help. Can you get me out of this marriage? Can you go tell somebody over in the United Kingdom? Help. He's the one in trouble. He is in a conundrum. He's not happy. He's miserable. He's going through the motions on this royal tour that he doesn't seem to really be happy about. They did not get the crowds that they were hoping to get when they came to visit certain places, because it's not really a concern of a lot of people in Colombia. It has a big problem around violence and poverty that really need to be addressed before you start trying to address things on the internet, where that really only affects a certain percentage of people. But everybody in that country, unless you're extremely wealthy, which is a very small number of people, most people are concerned about their everyday economical status rather than their online presence and being bullied online. Because being bullied online it's more of a luxury type problem to have, because you would need to have access to the internet to even be online. So why are they addressing this issue? Because it's a fake and a fraud, just like Harry and Meghan. They are fakes and frauds. They are trying to get themselves over in different countries that will have them there. And what William needs to do, he needs to go above and beyond what his father is saying, the king, and get his king to get some balls and to do something about these two, because they're going to continue taking advantage. And it all comes down to Meghan Markle, I believe. She's the culprit. She's the problem here. Because clearly Harry doesn't have any balls either.